of the VRL F2 Championship. We are live here, about to begin the Japanese Grand Prix. So first things first, ladies and gentlemen, just a big thank you from myself and everyone at VRL for helping us reach our target of 200 subscribers. And that is a massive feat for all the wonderful guys and gals working behind the scenes to bring you the best coverage possible for the races that have been going on this season, also in the VRL F1 League as well. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for helping us be a part of that journey and also contributing as well in your own wonderful way. So I'm your host Adam Burns, commentator for VRL F2, and we are now at the tail end of the season and it's championship time, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that's right. As the season has gone on, we've had many contests with many great drivers, but now it all comes down to the serious business towards the tail end of the season. And there is a championship battle in place between, well, as many as 16 guys on the grid can still win this driver's title. However, in reality, there is really only 6. However, there are circumstances and permutations today that could allow us to crown our inaugural F2 champion today. And whilst we are waiting for the rest of the roster to pile up, as there's a few minutes delay, I will be able to let you know about the permutations of what will need to happen for us to crown a champion today. Also, some breaking news for those of you that have been vigilant within the week with VRL news. You will have known that our championship leader, Ice-T, is having his last race with us in F2 today. The championship leader is moving into the VRL F1 series towards the end of the season, and today will be his last outing in VRL F2. With that being said, there is still a great opportunity for him to win this championship. He could still win the championship towards the end of the season if he doesn't do so today. But right now, it is possible for Ice-T to win this championship. In order for Ice-T to win this championship, his goal is very, very simple. He has to win today. If he does not win today, he will not be champion today. However, he could still be champion towards the end of the season. If Ice-T does win today, his rivals Burkeye, Fletcher, Magic Alonso, Papine and Sean Larry will all have to do the following. So bear with me on this one as we're about to get underway. If Ice-T wins the race today with the fastest lap, that means the following will need to happen. Burkeye will have to finish in 7th place, no worse than that. Fletcher will have to finish in the top 5. Magic Alonso will also have to finish in the top 5. Sorry, I'm just getting word that it looks like we may have to move over to a different lobby. Just bear with us one moment as I move us into another lobby. So our host Felix has just invited me to join another lobby. I do apologise for the delay in that, but once we have rejoined the next lobby and the next session, we'll be able to get underway. So whilst our host leader Felix is resetting the lobby to take us to Japan, I will once again go over the permutations for this championship outing. So if you've just joined us, hello, and thank you once again for joining us for another round of VRL F2. So these are the permutations for the championship as it stands. Our championship leader Ice-T in his final race in VRL F2 has to win today. If he fails to win, he will not be crowned champion today. If Ice-T does win the race with the fastest lap, his rivals must finish in no lower than this in order. 2nd place Burkeye must finish no lower than 7th. Fletcher in 3rd must finish no lower than 5th. The same goes for Magic Alonso, who is also tied with Fletcher. He must finish no lower than 5th if Ice-T wins the race today with the fastest lap to stay in the championship. Papine has to finish 3rd today. He cannot finish 4th, even though he will. It's possible to tie on points with Ice-T towards the end of the season. If Papine comes 4th, he will not be able to win the championship on account of countbacks, and that is not down to race victories, that will down to Ice-T having more 2nd places than Papine. Sean Larry, on the other hand, our race winner from the last race in Singapore, and if you haven't seen that race, please do check it out. It was an absolute brilliant race from start to finish. He will have to finish third. However, he can still win the championship on countback if he does so. Now, if Ice-T wins the Japanese Grand Prix without the fastest lap, the following then needs to happen for the others to stay in the championship. Burkeye will have to finish 7th still, however he can still finish in 8th place with the fastest lap. Fletcher has to finish 6th, no lower than that. The same goes for Magic Alonso. Papine will have to finish 4th, he can't finish 5th. Again, same as before, he would tie on points with the championship leader at minimum, at the best, actually at the best, but he will not be able to win the championship on countback. Sean Larry, on the other hand, can still win the championship on countback, but would have to finish no lower than 4th. So I hope you bear with me on that one, ladies and gentlemen. So it is possible for Ice-T to win the championship before moving to VRL F1 with the Ferrari team after this race, but he can only do so with a victory today. Anything less than a win for our championship leader, and he will have to wait. And of course, if he doesn't win it today, it all of a sudden becomes opened up again for the remaining drivers who will stay in the championship. So the name of the game is simple if you're the championship leader. Today he has to win and hope results will go their way. And judging by how competitive the field has been, it could be a very, very difficult win for Ice-T to obtain. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, just to point you to our chat. So not many people have commented in the chat section yet, so please make sure that you are letting us know that you are watching this race. I hope for many of you to be joining as the session goes on. We are just about to get underway for qualifying. For those of you that are unfamiliar with VRL F2 racing, you will know that we have a short qualifying session for 18 minutes, and then we'll have that followed by a 50% race. And of course, joining us on this stream is our title sponsors, Hot Lap Mode. A bunch of great guys that do a lot of fantastic work. These guys are usually first to all the breaking news in the real life Formula 1 world, so please make sure to give them a follow. You can follow them on Instagram as Hot Lap Mode, and also the same handle on Twitter as Hot Lap Mode as well. And of course, VRL have new sponsors. Just this week announced a partnership with F1.game_play. Guys, bring some great footage on their Instagram page of all the best F1 game footage and other motorsport racing game footage throughout the week, so make sure to give them a follow as well. It's F1.game_play. Give them a like and follow them on Instagram as well. And please, if you are new to the DNF1 channel, sorry, not the DNF1 channel, that's my podcast, and I'll talk about that a different time. But if you're new to the VRL channel, please give us a like, share and subscribe as well. So we are Hot Lap Mode VRL PS4. Follow us on YouTube as well, and also follow us at Vision League Racing as well, as we are about to get underway qualifying. It's Vision League Racing on Instagram and VRL_PS4 on Twitter as well. So it's a beautiful day at Suzuka, one of the favourite tracks of many drivers, including yours truly, one of the favourites for me as well. And we're about to get underway now. Everyone putting their setups on. It's 18 minutes flat out qualifying, same rules as the real life Formula 1 world with qualifying. So you won't have to worry about things being too confusing. The top 10 qualifiers in dry conditions will start the race on the tyres that they set their fastest laps, and the rest of the field will have a free tyre choice and slot in behind in the order that they all qualify. There's no Q1, Q2 or Q3, just 18 minutes flat out driving to see who is the fastest around this figure of 8 Suzuka circuit. So hello for those of you who are just joining in to this session. Thank you very much for some of you who are already giving me compliments on my commentary. It's very much appreciated, and I've enjoyed my time with VRL on commentary. Haven't had too much experience on commentary, but it's good to know that you guys are enjoying the coverage. Of course, I am not the star. The lovely and wonderfully talented young drivers out there dicing it out with each other for this championship. These are the real stars of this series. And we're on board now with Max. Had a great outing in Singapore. A good drive from him. He'll be looking to continue that and try and be competitive at Suzuka as well. some other drivers are coming out of the pits now, so Niltix Racing Point really needs to find some form and get back to where he feels he belongs. A very quick driver, good qualifier, but seems to struggle in the race, avoiding incidents. Now we're joining here the championship leader, the man who can be crowned the inaugural VRL F2 champion today. One thing and one thing only will be on his mind: to go out with a victory. And it's a track that has hosted many Titanic Championship battles of yesteryear, and I'm pretty sure that we are going to see another fantastic battle once again. But who can stop him? Plenty of drivers out there that have what it takes. This is one man, Papine, still in the championship battle, but he will have to get a great result today if he's going to stay in it for the final races of the season. And of course there's this man, been very consistent, fighting for regular points and podiums and victories. Fletcher, unfortunate not to win in Singapore. A penalty denied him after a brilliant piece of innovative overtaking under the virtual safety car. And then there's also this man as well, who's stuck in the pit lane at the moment, so we'll come back to him. Another driver, Burkay, in the Ferrari, won at Silverstone earlier in the season. Still an opportunity for him as he completely loses the backhand, and that is not what you want to be doing in qualifying. On his outlap, Burkay managing to save it, but he may have wrecked those tyres already. Big weekend for him. He is the man leading the chasing pack, and he will be hoping to try and get a great result this weekend, back to the top step to really put a championship charge. Of course, if Ice-T wins this race, it could be all over. However, if Ice-T finishes second, then Burkay could end up being the only driver left in the championship battle. And then there's also Magic Alonso as well, another driver who looks like he's had a bit of an incident earlier on. Can't quite see what's going on with him, but he can still win this championship as well. As we're now with Bois on pole in the Williams, a very good qualifier in his own right. Is able to see what he can do. Can he continue his good run of form in qualifying and see how he gets on for the race? As we're with him now, and this lap is not going to count. And the first time across the line, Max is the first driver across the line, a 128.5, not a bad effort from him. That's a good lap in qualifying, but we're expecting around a 127 maybe to be the pole time, possibly. It's Brian Pole now, it's coming around the legendary 130R. Not quite sure what the R is for, considering it's a left-hander, but it's a lot easier in these current Formula 1 cars than it used to be of yesteryear. And there's a collision there between Magic Alonso and Burkay has also spun off as well. So, and Sean Larry has left the session. A lot of drivers leaving the session. I'm wondering if, yes, the drivers are now leaving the session. So once again, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to have to switch to a new session. And I do apologise for this once again. It's something completely out of my control. But we're going to have to leave this session, guys. I do apologise. And there we are, back into a new session with everyone else just coming in now. So if you've just joined us, don't worry, you haven't missed anything. We've had to rejoin a new session again, as I said, something that's out of my control. But a few drivers couldn't get into the lobby and there was a few issues, so we've all had to restart. There was only one driver that had set a time in Max in the McLaren, so we haven't lost too much. And it seemed that we were getting... And the reason for this, from what I understand, looking at the chat as well, Stein, one of our Alfa Romeo drivers, thankfully has pointed out to us, is that a random driver had joined. Now, as much as we like to encourage drivers to partake in these championships, the last thing we would want is random drivers to come in. So do please bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. We will rejoin the action as soon as we are ready. For those of you that have joined us, thank you very much for joining us again. Wherever you are around the world watching us, please stay safe. We hope that you are well in this current COVID-19 situation, and we'll all pull through this together as well. It's a beautiful day here in London in the United Kingdom, where I am commentating from, and of course I have to resist the temptation to go out. and I am deciding to stay in, as we all should be at this time. So I hope you are all well and staying safe, and we've got plenty of action coming up very soon. Of course, if you haven't heard, the championship can be decided today. And of course, I will remind you all of the permutations as we go on in qualifying. So in the meantime, while we are waiting for qualifying to get back underway, got a little question for you guys. Now this weekend, because it is a potential championship decider, I'm going to give you two questions. First of which should be a bit easier, and then if we'll see how we'll go, I'll give you the second one after that. They're saying F1 fan 1426 saying hello to you, sir. Hope you are enjoying the coverage where you are around the world. I hope you are well, and hello to everyone else who's also commented in as well. So the question, the first of two this weekend, you lucky lot, and I'll remember to congratulate and give out the answer to this question. So back in, I believe it was sorry, I was just checking the messages from the hosts. Oh, it's you, Sem. Oh, hello. So yes, so Sem, our VRL F1 commentator, if I am right in that. Hello to you, sir. How are you doing? Hope you are doing well. And of course, Sem will be covering our VRL F1 coverage of the Japanese Grand Prix and the VRL F1 Championship, and that is on at 2:30 PM UK time, 3:30 PM European time tomorrow. So make sure to see that. There's an exciting four-way battle for the championship going on there, which is absolutely brilliant to see. And I don't know which way that's going to go, but the only way you're going to find out is if you tune into their coverage tomorrow, and that's at 2:30 on the same channel, UK time, 3:30 European time, on the VRL channel, Hot Lap Mode, VRL PS4. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you once again, I should say, for helping us reach our target of 200 subscribers. Let's see how long we can take to push and smash past 300, 500, 1,000. Who knows? Let's make this the biggest online racing channel that there exists, make this the biggest league going. It's a lot of great people behind the scenes doing some great work, and let's see if you guys can support us and get us to the very, very top. So moving back now, we are back to qualifying once again, ladies and gentlemen, so hopefully we can get underway without any further delays or interruptions. It seems like almost all of the drivers are available. It seems that we're missing a few, but that's okay. I'm sure we will get them in time for the race. So as I was saying before, ladies and gentlemen, the question, the first of two. So here it is. In 2005, Kimi Raikkonen won the Japanese Grand Prix from an untenable qualifying position. It was a very mixed up grid owing to difficult conditions with the weather on the Saturday, but it was arguably his greatest drive of his career. So my first question, what position on the grid did Kimi Raikkonen start in when he won the 2005 Japanese Grand Prix with that last lap legendary overtake on Giancarlo Fisichella into turn 1? As the drivers have now got their setups all ready to go, they are ready to get underway, and the first one out on the track, I believe, Tim Coronel. Very reliable qualifier, very quick driver, out first on the track. Well, I'm delighted to say, guys, you are all very, very quick. So Hot Lap Mode guessing that correctly. So did Sem and also Darth FIFA as well from the EuroLeague. And that's right, Ralf Schumacher was on pole, Sem, so well done for that one as well. And yes, so Kimi Raikkonen started on 17th. So that one was almost too easy for you guys. So congrats on that one. So I'm going to give you another one. As we just see a Toro Rosso of Tim Coronel, followed closely by Tom behind him. So yes, because of the championship battles that we've seen going on, I'm going to ask you another question. So in the legendary race between Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost in the 1989 Japanese Grand Prix, which saw Ayrton originally win the race on the road after colliding with his teammate and then end up being disqualified after being pushed back on the track by the marshals and cutting the chicane under very controversial circumstances. My question is, in that race, who was awarded the victory after Ayrton Senna was disqualified? So in 1989, who was the winner of the Japanese Grand Prix after Ayrton Senna was disqualified for being pushed over? and I'll reveal the answer at the end of qualifying. There's a massive amount of traffic as Brian Pole is getting ready to start his qualifying lap. And there's a massive traffic concertina effect going on there, led by Tim Coronel, but Tom Coronel has passed him as he's gone into the pit lane, and he's about to start his flying lap. So Brian Pole first across the line to start his flying lap. Magic Alonso in the championship battle, hoping to get a great result today. How will he fare in qualifying? So Daily Fortnite Moments asks me, do I think Ice-T will win the championship today? Well, we shall see. It's a massive ask today. He's been in good form, a regular finisher on the podium, but it's been a while since he won his last Grand Prix. If you cast your mind back, he won the opening 2 races of the season. So he hasn't won since the second race of the season in Austria. Of course, he had that win in Belgium taken away from him owing to a penalty under controversial circumstances, where he ghosted out of the session, rejoined, but then was awarded a penalty as a result of that, which got held and was not able to keep that result. So Tim Coronel has retired from the session, so obviously he's had a problem and has decided not to continue, so he's going to be at the very back of the field now, as Magic Alonso getting a massive toe on Brian Pole, who's on the harder tyres as well. It's going to be a massive contrast in strategy, who's set fastest middle sector, but he's going to come up behind Brian Pole, who's on a lap himself. So Magic Alonso is going to be massively hampered behind him in this final sector as they go across the line now. What is the time going to be as he goes across the line? A 1:28.7 for Magic Alonso. So he's fastest so far, followed by Brian Pole on the harder tyres, as Ice-T, the championship leader, can win the championship today. If he wins the Grand Prix and other results goes his way, goes fastest with a 1:28.5. Not a bad effort. I'm expecting Pole to be around the early 1:28s, low 1:27s, as Fletcher does a 1:27.7. Talking to him in the week, he's been putting plenty of hours in practicing around this Japanese circuit. He knows how important a result is for him today. Going for the permutations, if Ice-T wins the Grand Prix today, there's a very good chance he could become champion today. However, if he does not win the race, then all of a sudden the championship becomes wide open, purely and simply because he will be moving up to VRL F1. That's right, the championship leader has impressed team bosses in the VRL F1 leagues and are rewarding him with an end of season promotion into the Ferrari team. So who else can stop him from the crown? So Pepine, and the other Renault driver, it's possible for him to win this championship as well. It's not out of the question. Remember, Ice-T started the season so strongly to build up a massive lead, but if he is unable to win the championship today, it opens the championship right up, and there are potentially 5 drivers in Burkheim, Fletcher, Magic Alonso, Pepine, and the man we're with right now, Sean Larry, the Singapore Grand Prix winner. The other man, the only other person to win 2 races than Ice-T himself. They're all separated by 7 points in this championship. Can he put on a late charge? He's been in great form himself. Winner in Belgium, also a winner in Singapore. Can he put a late charge in this championship if it's still open? It's all to play for, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting really exciting. We're at the business end of the season, and now we're about to see which one of these guys can hold their nerve under the greatest of pressure on the biggest of stage, a stage which has seen many championship battles over the years, such as the Senna Prost battle, of course Schumacher Hakkinen as well. Sean Larry goes 8th fastest on the harder tyres, so there seems to be a contrast in strategy. A lot of the front guys going for the soft tyres, and also a man who knows a lot about winning championships as he's gone into the pits. We would also join Yoda Speak once again in the Haas, the VRL F1 champion from season 2, joining us once again, and he is looking pretty racy as well. It was with MES_compassion 99. Was replacing Robert Dornbos this weekend, who's not with us. He is also in the Toro Rosso, and he's looking pretty quick as well, 1:28.3, so he could be in the mix in this race, which could upset proceedings for those fighting for the championship. But of course, the more competitive drivers we have in this championship, the better the series is going to be. Of course, Magic Alonso now coming out to the pits with a new set of brand new softer tyres. It's Fletcher, looks like he's ready for another go. Javi Mateos, a consistent finisher in the Red Bull as well. looking pretty racy himself. And he'll be hoping to carry on with that form in the Red Bull, as they've been very late to the party of scoring points, but they have now officially got off the bottom of the championship table after not scoring until the Italian Grand Prix, would you believe it? But they are now tied on points with the Haas team at the bottom of the championship, and they'll be hoping to improve and get more and more points as the season goes on. Still plenty of action to go in the Constructors' Championship as well. The Racing Point team currently leading the championship in the Constructors, 20 points ahead of Ferrari, and then a further 4 points ahead of the Renault team. So it's all to play for there. And if ICE team moving on after this could open the championship up to the other teams. Javi Mateos has been on the soft tyres. Is he going to complete that? He's going to go in the pits. No, he goes into the pit lane, so that was a bit anticlimactic, as Tom Coronel does a 1:29.4 on the soft tyres, so he's still quite a way off. As Jamil in the other Red Bull, very impressive performances he's put in, has gone third fastest, and Max behind him. Let's go on board as him as he swings it right and keeps it in. You've really got to make sure the back end doesn't come out, or it understeers all the way and you lose that speed as it undulates out of the exit of the corner. So for those of you asking the question earlier, so we had two questions, one about Kimi Räikkönen, which was already guessed correctly. So the second one is, in the 1989 Japanese Grand Prix between Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, that famous battle, after Ayrton Senna was disqualified for joining the track in a dangerous position after being pushed back on by marshals, which driver was awarded the win? I will announce the answer to that at the end of qualifying. Well, I've seen a few answers come in, but I'll announce at the end of qualifying. So which driver was awarded the 1989 Japanese Grand Prix? As Fletcher is about to start his lap right now, so let's go on board with Fletcher. As he swings out of turn one, and now for the S's, he goes left and then right, really well committed in fifth gear, and then left and then right again. He leaves it into fifth gear now, he shifts down to fourth, he leaves it in there, the car is ticking over, it just really wants to get going, but it's all about making that smooth entry and transition from left to right. The car is really working hard, and Fletcher, that's a very smooth first sector, and it's a purple sector in sector one. Fletcher's been telling me he's been putting a lot of effort in, he still believes he can win this championship, and now brings it into the spoon. It's coming up to the hairpin, sorry. He needs to leave a nice wide entry and then leave it deep and then back on the power as early as you can as he goes all the way through. He hugs the inside line. Obviously Fletcher believes that that's the fastest route around. As now he goes through the spoon curves there. It's going around the outside there. He's really holding it line very, very nicely. It's a nice exit, but now he's going to get a toe from the car in front of him as he hugs the inside line now, as Magic Alonso, championship rival, gives him a lovely toe coming up as he approaches 130R. Easy in a Formula 1 car, easily in 8th gear now. His under brakes down into 3rd gear into the chicane, the famous chicane where Michael Schumacher completely ripped his tyre open, which ended his 1998 championship campaign, as he hugs to the inside line, and it's a 1:27.549 from Fletcher. That is a great lap, and he's heads and shoulders above the rest of the field at the moment. They don't seem to have an answer to him. He's 8 tenths clear of the next fastest driver, MES_Compassion 99, making his Toro Rosso debut today. Closest next to him. Has anyone got an answer for him? As this man, the championship leader, ICE, as he completely brings the car to a halt. So obviously was not happy with the opening part of that lap, so he's going to have to come in and go for another lap after that. As we see a Williams there, Bois pole, rejoining the track in a dangerous place just ahead of it was Jamil there, who was thankfully was on an out lap as Papine goes off the circuit to get out of the way. So this track is very congested. It's a very congested circuit at the best of times in qualifying, and it's very difficult for drivers to get a lap in if they are unable to get the times in. So it seems that a lot of the front drivers are going for the softer tyres, as with Silly Guy. A bit unfortunate what happened to him in the Singapore Grand Prix. Drove well, but it just didn't really work out to him as the race went on. He'll be hoping for better fortunes in this race as well. Looking further down the field, Sean Larry on the harder tyres is now 12, so he's falling down the order. As Jaffa Baboon, my favourite tag name, is just coming out of the final corner. He lost the back end a little bit. Is it going to be an improvement? It is going to be an improvement. Half a second faster, but he's still only 14th, so he's really not been able to find the grip. He's 2.5 seconds down on Fletcher. and that's going to hurt. How spread the field is at the moment. So 2 drivers not set a time. Jacob also making his debut in the Mercedes, and Burkhardt in the Ferrari, second in the championship at the moment. We'll be hoping for a great result for him to see if he is able to get on the top step of the podium, and he's going to have to. But if Ice-T finishes second today, Burkhardt will be the only driver remaining in this championship that can still win it. It is that tight at the moment. Also go through the permutations just before the start of the race as well. So a lot of our F1 drivers entering in the chat, so welcome guys, hope you're enjoying the action so far. Best of luck to those of you in the race tomorrow, and if you're interested in checking out the race tomorrow, it is on the VRL channel. It is Hot Lap Mode VRL PS4 on the same channel, 2:30 PM UK time on Sunday, and also 3:30 PM on Sunday in Europe as well, so make sure to check that out. A brilliant championship battle between 4 very, very fast drivers, and it's shaping up to be quite the titanic battle. You do not want to miss that. 4 minutes left for the rest of the session now. So we have Fletcher, fastest of all. MES_compassion, 4 tenths behind him. So he's managed to find some time and improve. With Jamil in 3rd place as well, looking to improve on his time. What can he do? The Red Bull driver's impressed immensely since he's joined in the Italian Grand Prix. He's set the fastest middle sector, but he's only slightly improved on his own time at the moment. So what can he do? Can he find some more speed to solidify 3rd place? Can he try and sneak it on the front row? And he's improved, but he's only a 10th up on his own time. A 1:28.3 for Jamil. May have time for one more run if he can. But 3rd place is not a bad place to start on the grid. He's very, very quick, and he's very impressive in the race as well. So a bit of a lull now before the final charge, as we're with Xavi Mateos now, as we'll go on board with the Red Bull driver to see if he can make an improvement on his time and go further up the grid like his teammate has just done. It's very tight between his teammate and him at the moment, just 4 tenths of a second separating 3rd to 8th. So there's plenty of places to make up on the grid if you can find an extra 10th or 2 around this circuit. So let me know guys, who do you think is going to win the Japanese Grand Prix? It's looking very good for Fletcher at the moment. However, being fast in qualifying does not always translate to victory. I'd have to look up the stats to see how many pole sitters have won, but I'm going to tell you now, more often than not, the pole sitter has not always won in VRL. There's so much action, and of course one thing to note, there will not be a safety car. From what I understand, if you've been following the news this week, there is no safety car. Xavi Mateos completely abandons that lap and he's going to dive straight into the pits. There's Jamil as well, looking to go in the pits as well. So who's on a hot lap? Doesn't seem like anyone's on a hot lap at the moment, except for Burkhardt. It's going to be one shot for him. Oh, and he's completely gone wide at the first spoon. And he's a long way off, so he's obviously abandoning this lap, but he's only going to get one shot. And he's going to have to go for it. I don't feel he's going to be able to, he's not going to be able to come in, so he's going to have to go for it now. So the Ferrari, the championship contender, Burkhardt, second in the championship, goes straight off the row, and he goes into the pit lane. One thing to point out, ladies and gentlemen, is that there is a delay on the time, so if he can turn it around quick enough, I don't know, he might not be quick enough. Burkhardt may... As you can see, you've got the racing point of Ice-T just coming out of the pits now, the championship leader. So there's still time. Of course, the timer at the top left of your screen is a bit inaccurate. It's a bit ahead of the actual time of the session as well. I'll let you know once the session has finished and once the flag has gone down. But we'll wait and see. Keep an eye on Burkhardt. Will he come out and do another lap? I don't know if he's going to have enough time. Xavi Mateos has retired from the session, so he can improve. We're with Max now, who's really committed, coming out there. The 2 Degners. Looking now around the hairpin, there's a nice entry speed. He's got a good exit, very, very smooth, not really losing the back end too much on that one. Not much wheel spin, that's what you want to have. As we're on board with a McLaren driver now, coming through the spoon curves. He's really well committed, keeps it in 4th, get up to 5th, and then down into 4th again. He's really got that McLaren hooked up. It's very, very nice to see, and there's definitely room for improvement. As Burkhardt has come out of the pit on an outlap, so it looks like he's going to be able to do another lap, but we'll have to keep an eye on that as the checker flag is about to go. It says on the timing screen that it's about to go now. Oh, as Max really throws it in there, loses the back end a bit, but he holds it. And he really wants to get on the throttle. He's getting very patient, and that's a good lap from Max. He's up into third place. Very good stuff from him. As now with our pole sitter, Fletcher, the man, under pressure to deliver now. He says he still believes he can win this championship. He still believes that he can go on to catch Ice-T's insurmountable lead, as it seems, and to go on and win. He's definitely showing the form, but now, as Burkhardt retires from the session, as the checker flag has now come down now, so anyone who is currently on a qualifying lap will be able to finish it. As now Fletcher has come through the final corner, we'll just go on board with him now. What is the time going to be? He's already shattered the field already. What's this one going to be? He's got even faster. It's a 1:27.3 for Fletcher, and that's a brilliant lap from him. What a marker for the rest of the field. It's now with Juan Pole as he's about to complete his final flying lap. What's it going to be for him? Only 10th fastest, but he's on the medium tyres as Magic Alonso goes 4th fastest in the Renault. Jaffa Baboon, we missed that, went 8th fastest overall. And Max has given up. What is Ice-T going to do? The championship leader, he's improved on his opening sector time, and he's going to get a tow from the McLaren. If the McLaren can see him in his mirrors and get out of the way, Max is on the racing line. He's towing Ice-T all the way out the back straight. He gets out of the way at a 130 yards. Ice-T fully committed in there. It's easy in a Formula 1 car these days in 8th gear. Ice-T now coming through the final chicane there. He's looking very well. Nice exit from him. He hugs it to the inside line, shortest through the line. Where's his time going to put him? And he goes. And it's all that lap was actually abandoned. I do apologise. I did not notice that that time would have been 2nd fastest, but it did not count. Such a shame, but Ice-T qualifies 6th. So if he's going to win this championship today, he's going to have some overtaking he's going to have to do. It's just absolutely right. Philip Smith pointing out that it was invalidated, but I'll run out the order now. So pole position is Jay Fletcher, 1:27.3, clear ahead of the rest of the field. MES Compassion 99 on his debut in the Toro Rosso, replacing Robert Dornbos, 2nd on the grid. And then Max in the McLaren, another strong showing from him, 3rd. Magic Alonso next to the championship contenders, 4th fastest. Then Jammer with the Red Bull, 5th. Ice-T, the championship leader, 6th on the grid. Papine, 7th in the Renault. Jaffa Baboon, great showing in qualifying from him, 8th position. Xavi Mateos, 9th in the Red Bull. And Juan Pole, the fastest of the medium runners, starts 10th. And Sean Larry, 11th in the Ferrari, but will have a free choice of tyre. So now we're about to get underway. So, for those of you early on that were listening to my earlier questions, so which driver... The question was, which driver won the 1989 Grand Prix after it was awarded to him following the disqualification of Ayrton Senna after being pushed back on the track in a dangerous position after that collision with his teammate Alain Prost? And the answer was Alessandro Nannini was the race winner back in 1989. Alessandro Nannini, great drive from him to win his one and only Grand Prix of his career. So congratulations to Sem, our VRL F1 commentator, who was the first to get that right. So well done to you. So well done, guys. Great double questions there. Very, very quick. It's a very good track to cover on as we're about to get underway for the VRL F2 Japanese Grand Prix. If you haven't given us a like or a follow yet, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys, as we're about to get underway for the formation lap. Yes, as I was saying, guys, there's no safety car for this race. There's been a lot of complaints with some spectators and some drivers that the safety car has been too prominent in these races, and until Codemasters puts a patch to stop the safety car coming out in pointless circumstances, i.e. when someone loses an end plate or someone leaves the session, the safety car is coming out too often. Of course, the safety car can spice up the race and make it interesting and bunch the pack together, which is a good thing, but coming out too often does not make it fun for anyone. So for this race, we're going to trial, and it's also going to occur in the VRL F1 race tomorrow, which is at 2:30 PM UK time and 3:30 European time on the same channel, so do check that out. If you've got nothing to do on a Sunday, you need to be entertained, that's going to be the place to be. But there'll be no safety car in that race as well. Depending on how that goes, we're going to trial this to see if it actually makes it better. If it does, we may consider leaving it out for the rest of the season. If it doesn't, we'll bring it back for the next race. But of course, you've got to let us know what you think, guys. Do you think the safety car should be included for the remainder of the season, or do you think we should not include it at all for VRL F1 and F2? So let us know in the comments section. And we've already had our first casualty, sadly, as Philip Smith has just pointed out. Stein, the Alfa Romeo driver, has left the session. What a shame. I don't know what's gone on there. Hopefully he can rejoin. Such a shame, if possible. So let us know who you think is going to win, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to win this race? Do you think Ice-T is going to win the championship? He's in 6th place at the moment. He's got Magic Alonso, he's got Fletcher in front of him, but he's also got Papine, Sean Larry and Burkay also behind him as well. Don't forget, Ice-T has to win this race. If he gets it with the fastest lap, Burkay has to finish no lower than 7th. No lower than 5th for Fletcher and Magic Alonso. Papine has to finish 3rd. Sean Larry has to finish 3rd as well, but can finish 4th win on countback. So who's it going to be? Is it going to be a one last hurrah for Ice-T? Is he going to be able to cash in and win the championship before he moves to VRL F1? Or is it going to go down to the wire with Fletcher, Magic Alonso, Burkay, Papine as the grid now forms? And we're about to get underway as Niltix at the back takes the final grid slot. As the lights are about to get underway now. Watch out for the delay, guys. It's time to go. Wait for it, guys. It's time to go. Racing, and it's a great start off the line from Fletcher. MES Compassion doesn't get a good getaway, and he's been served by Max off the line as they go into turn 1. Ice-T is swamped in between 2 cars and he goes up into 4th place and he gets ahead of Magic Alonso and Jamil. It's a great start from the championship leader as they all get underway. Plenty of action going on down the field as they all go through the S's. The 2 Ferraris having a battle, and Papine has completely lost it. Papine has smashed it into the wall, lost his front wing. You just saw him losing his grip at the end of the S's now, but as he does that, Fletcher gets away at the front. It's a poor start for Papine. That's the last thing he wanted to do in this championship. Sean Larry is up into 9th place in Ferrari. Burkay started 16th, is up into 11th, so they're getting on with it. They're not giving up this championship just yet. And Ice-T, a great start from him, passing Magic Alonso and Jamil up into 4th place. What a start to this Japanese Grand Prix. Tom Coronel and Jacob falling further down the order. Bois on pole. There's been an incident there. Something's happened to Burkay. Oh, it's a massive collision with Bois on pole. Had a collision with Burkay as well. The leading championship challenger, Burkay, has had a massive crash with Bois on pole and is falling down the order. That's not what he's wanted. And Ice-T has made a move. He is also overtaken Max. Magic Alonso is getting very racy as we go up the hill, about to approach 130R. 130R, I should say, the proper name for it. It's all going in, it's all going off now as Fletcher gets away at the front. Just exactly what he needs to do. Ice-T is going to have to be careful. He does not want to get caught up in these incidents now as we are 1 lap in. The race leader, Fletcher, starts the race fastest lap of the race. I'm struggling to keep up now, but we're still going strong. Max is having to fend off Magic Alonso, who's getting very racy behind him. It's a yellow flag in sector 3. Bois on pole has now gone further down the order. He's had to pit, Burkay's had to pit, and Bois on pole has got a 5-second time penalty for speeding into pit lane. That's the last thing he would have wanted. And once again, Bois on pole, that strategy has gone completely out of window for him on the medium tyres now. As the man Fletcher, fastest on the track at the moment, and he's doing what he needs to do. He's right on it, and he's getting away from the chasing pack behind him. With MES_Compassion 99 on his debut for the Toro Rosso. Great effort from him, great showing. Although I'm hearing rumours that this is Alex has joined in as MES_Compassion 99. So do let me know if that is the case. Alex, is that our VRL F1 co-commentator? You'll have to let me know in the chat section if that is, guys. I'm hearing a few whispers, it may well be. Brilliant showing from him, great to see. With Max as well now. Magic Alonso chasing behind. He's got a championship he's got to fight for. He's got to finish in the top 5 if Ice-T wins this race. Papine is out of the race in the Renault, so Papine is out of the race, and that could be his championship challenge is over by the looks of it. As now we're with Yoda Speak, who's looking to go for a move on Jamal around the outside of the chicane. Is he going to make that stick? They touch, but he's got the inside line on the exit, and Yoda Speak makes a great move from the VRL F1 Season 2 champion. He's started to improve week after week since he's rejoined, and it's great to see, as now Xavi Mateos is looking very racy with Jaffa Baboon. Is he going to go to the inside? And he holds it in there, but there's plenty of room on the outside, and Jaffa Baboon, very well committed, very brave, and holds on to that 6th position, but is going to go back through the S's now as they go left and then right. The Huss leading the Red Bull driver. Xavi Mateos looking very racy behind him. It's getting very, very racy at the moment, and this is what VRL F2 and F1 of course is all about, and this is what we want to see now. So much action going on. Further down the order, we've got Tim Coronel having a battle with Niltix in the Alfa Romeo in this race. And Niltix definitely needs a good result racing in the Alfa Romeo this weekend, surprisingly, rather than the Racing Point. Not sure what's happened there, but all these cars have equal performance, so I'm pretty sure he'll still be representing the Racing Point team despite driving in a different livery this weekend. As we're back with the race leader Fletcher, who's opened up a 3-second gap, so he's already out of DRS range and he's already checking out. I'm just hearing in the chat our league administrator Phil Smith, also VRL F1 driver Philip Smith, just letting me know that yes indeed, because Niltix joined late in the session, he's racing for Alfa Romeo, but the points will go to Racing Point nonetheless, so that's good to see. Of course, no bearing on performance now as we're 4 laps in. And Xavi Mateos has now overtaken Jaffa Baboon, so we've missed that. And Yoda Speaker's retired from the session. He's had a massive incident. I'm not sure what's happened there. I do apologise for missing that. But our VRL F1 champion of Season 2 has retired from the race, and that is such a shame. So now with Sean Larry getting up the field. He's on the medium tyres, so he's on the alternate strategy to go long into this race, and he'll be much faster towards the end, up into 8th place. He has got to get a move on. He's got to do some overtaking. It's good to see him climbing up the field now. With Magic Alonso as well, trying to get through. There's Jaffa Baboon trying to get back at Xavi Mateos. It almost loses the backhand, getting a little bit squirmish there, coming out of the Degners, but he's managed to hold it, and he's still going to carry on strong. So this man, Ice-T, at the moment, ice cool, not panicking at the moment. Of course, he cannot win the championship at the present time because of what Fletcher is doing at the moment. He needs to win this race. At the moment, if he wins this race, only Fletcher will remain in this championship battle. As Jaffa Baboon gets a time penalty for corner cutting, and that's going to be a factor as well. Corner cuts is going to be a big factor in terms of penalties, and that could play havoc on the result today, as Ice-T in the DRS section is really, really close to MES_Compassion 99. He's looking very, very quick. Despite the fact not being able to keep up with Fletcher's pace at the moment, Ice-T will probably settle for a second at this point in time, but there's still plenty of racing to go. As now the pack is starting to spread out a little bit. DRS is going to become ever more critical, especially on a track like this. A silly guy now getting right up to the back of Jamal, and he's looking very, very racy behind that Red Bull. You can almost sniff the gearbox behind that Honda powered Red Bull engine at their home race as well, so the Honda engine manufacturers are going to want a great result from their guys, as Jamal's gone very wide at the S of the S there. The silly guy on the medium tyres as well, so he's going to be very quick later on. We've got 3 drivers on the harder compound tyres as well who have all pitted onto him. They're going to go long, so they'll probably try and go to the end of the race. Unfortunately for them, there's no safety car. No safety car will be able to bail them out in this race. As earlier announced, there's no safety car for this race or in the VRL F1 race, so it's all going to be just hardcore racing, and that is something that this man will be very, very happy to know, as he is building up quite the gap now, 4.5 seconds ahead of the chasing pack. And Ice-T, the championship leader, 3rd place, can win the championship today, but he has to win the race or it will go to the last few races of the season before he moves into VRL F1. So the guys in VRL F1 are going to be looking very, very closely at their newcomer to see if he can be crowned the inaugural VRL F2 champion. for Season 1. And Jaffa Baboon is going to be inside of Xavi Mateos, and he's made that move stick, so that battle's continued. Sean Larry is right behind him too, getting in the slipstream, tucking in behind that Red Bull, and he's going to look and try to see if he can make the overtake going into turn 1 now. What can Sean Larry do? Can Xavi Mateos hold him up? He goes to the inside, goes to the outside, they tuck him. Xavi Mateos getting right behind Jaffa Baboon, looking to try and see if he can overtake him as well. He's left the door open, but he's not able to make that move stick this time around as we go for another lap around. This battle is really starting to develop. Jaffa Baboon, Xavi Mateos and Sean Larry all swapping positions. And it's getting very tight and interesting between those. One mistake and it could be all over, so these guys keeping their concentration under such pressure. It's great to see. And it seems like a tight and twisty track like Japan and Suzuka would normally create havoc for a lot of these guys with the turbulent air, but that is not happening today. Very close and very exciting racing between all these drivers, and that's what we want to see in this championship. As Magic Alonso now further up the field in 5th place, knows what he needs to do. No matter what, he needs to finish in the top 5 today to keep his championship hopes alive. As Boyan Pol has retired from the session, so he's had an incident, not sure if he's retired or not. But he is out of the race, and that is such a shame. Looked like he had a plan. And just seeing in the chat, Felix mentioned that Boyan Pol was pushed off the track on a straight, which is such a shame. I was not able to bring you that, but you'll have to let me know the details of that one, Felix, of what happened to Boyan Pol. Seems like someone has taken him out of the race, which is a shame. We'll have to wait and find out what happened there. And so now with Sean Larry, who's overtaken Xavi Mateos once again. Sorry, I have to stick with this battle because this is the one going off at the moment. But Xavi Mateos has passed Jaffa Baboon again, and now it's a sandwich between the 2 Red Bulls, a Haas and a Ferrari. A very tasty looking Italian sandwich with Red Bull for bread. And you've got your American cheese of the Haas. Well, to finish it off quite nicely, I must say. It's a nice little prosciutto and cheese sandwich there. I'm not sure what the bread is in Austria. I'm just going to assume it's rye bread, but as this race unfolds now with Xavi Mateos leading the chasing pack behind him, Jaffa Baboon behind him in the Haas, Sean Larry, a championship battler in the Ferrari, needs to try and clear these two, but he's on the medium tyres, so he's going to have to try and keep it clean. And Jamal behind them in 9th place is Silly Guy and Niltix having a battle for 10th place. Silly Guy on the outside, Niltix going around the inside, a spoon curve, they have a touch and they avoid a massive collision like Vettel and Verstappen did a couple of years ago. This time them two managed to keep out of each other's way. And further up the field, Ice-T has overtaken Compassion. I do apologise for a misstep, too busy with a battle for 6th place, and Ice-T is now up into 2nd place. And let's see if Ice-T can chase after the leader now. He's got Compassion behind him, who's looked very, very quick all session long. So let's hope to see if he can try and get back at the championship leader, because right now he has a clear track in front of him. Can he haul back Fletcher, who is 6.5 seconds ahead? It's a huge lead for Fletcher at the moment, who's doing what he needs to do to make sure that this championship goes on for the rest of the season. There's Jaffa Baboon as well, right behind Xavi Mateos as well. He's looking very, very quick behind him. And that battle looks like it could go on for the whole race. Sean Larry on the medium tyres, hoping to extend this stint as long as he can to get in front of these guys. But he may get caught out by the undercut as the race goes on later on. And he goes for the move up the inside. Oh, and he's gone in too fast. And he's overcooked a little bit. And they've touched. And that's allowed Xavi Mateos to get back. But Sean Larry has got past him as well. And Sean Larry and the Ferrari, he's going to look good. And now Jaffa Baboon's on the inside. He's going to try and go between the two of them. It's almost 3 wide going into the spoon corner. This is incredible racing. And somehow the 3 of them have all managed to go through there without getting tagged. Great racing between them two. Jaffa Baboon, great recovery, went in too hot into the hairpin, managed to recover, and now there's plenty of racing going on behind them as they're down the slipstream now. Sean Larry, Silly Guy on the inside of 130R. Oh, and touched again, and Jaffa Baboon looking to get really, really racing behind him. Sean Larry, Silly Guy, oh, there's a collision. Silly Guy's been spun off. There was a collision behind him with Jamal and Niltix, and Silly Guy's had to reverse back. He's rejoined the circuit, and that is such a shame for him as the racing goes on, and Xavi Mateos holding on to 6th place. It is all going off here at the moment. Oh, and he's gone right up behind. He's gone into the back of Xavi Mateos, giving him a bump draft. Oh, wow. Silly guy. So unfortunate for him to get tagged there in that incident with Niltix and Jamil. It was hard to see who was at fault there, but we know Silly guy was definitely the victim in that incident and has come off very, very badly, unfortunately. So that's going to wreck his race, and he's gone into the pits as well. Fortunately, he was able to do so as the battle continues. Oh, Sean Larry getting very close behind the gearbox of Jaffa Baboon now, who's going to go for a lunge of the hairpin up the inside. Jaffa Baboon stays in there. Does Sean Larry fancy a go? Jamil's trying to fend off Niltix, who goes to the inside, and the Toro Rosso of Tim Coronel goes straight into the wall there, and he is out of the race. So Tim Coronel not having a good race. This is definitely a racer circuit, and he's catching a lot of people out. Very loose rear ends at the moment. Battle continues as Sean Larry now chasing up the hill behind Jaffa Baboon and Xavi Mateos, with DRS not at play at this part of the circuit, but now is Jaffa Baboon going to line up a move as Xavi Mateos goes wide at 130R. And he manages to hold on, but where's Jaffa Baboon? He's looking at the outside of him. Oh, they're getting close, they've touched, and now the run down to turn one as Jamil plays the smart game, goes into the pits now as Jaffa Baboon gets a great run on the outside of him, and he gets ahead, but Sean Larry's looking racy behind him on the inside. It's three of them going into turn one, and once again, they somehow managed to get through without colliding in each other, and Sean Larry with a great opportunistic move up the inside. What an epic battle this is for 6th, 7th and 8th place. Niltix up into 9th now after that pit stop for Jamil. He's a bit further down the field, so he's fallen off of this train between the three of them. What driving! Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what we want to see for VRL, and you cannot not enjoy this racing. Please give us a like, share and subscribe, because this is the sort of racing we see on a weekly basis, both in VRL F2 and F1. You cannot help but love this. But now, Xavi Mateos falling off the back of these two now, so it looks like he's struggling on these tyres and is looking to pit. Sean Larry on the mediums, however, is looking to try and overtake Jaffa Baboon. And they're all going to have to watch out now for Jamil, who is now closing right up to the back of Niltix, who's a bit further back than he is on the road. So the timing scream's a little bit off for those ones, but now Sean Larry is looking to make a move, go through 130 yards right behind Jaffa Baboon. We go on board with him now as he tries to line up a move on the outside. Jaffa Baboon shuts the door, of course, and manages to hold on as Compassion has a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Jaffa Baboon dives into the pit lane, so does Xavi Mateos, so they're going to try and cover off the undercut now. This one now, Ice-T also coming out of the pit lane. Oh, and Compassion right there, as you can see. Where is this all going to fan out? Them two putting on medium tyres, so they're going to try and go to the end on the one stopper. Fletcher has also pitted from the lead. He's put on the medium tyres now. He has drove an exemplary race so far, and he's now second in the race, but he's first in a net first place. Sean Larry, of course, 10 laps old, medium tyres, still yet to pit. Silly guy sits the fastest up of the race. He's put on a fresh set of softs, and he is looking very pacey on this set of tyres. There was an incident, Burkeye having an incident further down, and he looks like he's out of the race as well. So it's a shame for him out in the Ferrari, so it looks like he could be out of the championship race. He could well be. If Ice-T wins this race, Burkeye will not be able to win this championship. At present, Ice-T is in a net second place at the moment. Now with Xavi Mateos, who's not been able to get the benefit of that undercut. Jamil, on the other hand, has managed to get ahead of both Jaffa Baboon and Xavi Mateos, so that undercut has worked out beautifully for him. He is now ahead of them, and of course, Sean Larry, further down the field, who goes on for another lap on those medium tyres, as expected. He's probably going to do another 4 or 5 laps on those tyres. But the battle continues now, and this time Jamil, in the leading Red Bull driver, got a podium finish in Italy, a decent point showing in Singapore. And we'll be hoping to continue on that good run of form now, as he's got Jaffa Baboon for company and Javi Mateos falling off the train from this pack. Neil Tix has come into the pits to put on some medium tyres. He will most likely come out in 10th place where he was before all this happened. And now Compassion is right up behind championship leader Ice-T. Massive pressure time, squeaky bum time if you like, for Ice-T in his final race in VRL F2. Surely there's going to be poo everywhere from him to keep his composure and make sure that he does not end up in a position which costs him vital points, which could be the difference between him being crowned the inaugural VRL F2 champion or not. Of course, he will not be competing in the final races of the season, so it's essential that he gets into a position where he can maintain that lead as well as he can. But of course, this man as well, Fletcher, will be looking to overhaul that lead, and he's got plenty of work to do for the rest of the season, but it all starts today. Race win and fastest lap, if he can, would do wonders for his season now, as he's in the slipstream with Sean Larry. And Sean Larry's not going to make it easy for him. These two were battling it out in the Singapore Grand Prix. So we see Compassion now right behind Ice-T, as Ice-T getting away a little bit. So now Fletcher has got the DRS as we go on board with him. He didn't think he was going to have to do much overtaking today, but he may have to get this move done on Sean Larry. Sean Larry goes to the inside line to cover him off. Fletcher behind him goes to the outside, looks for the inside line, but Sean Larry defends well. He positions that car very, very well indeed. As now the battle commences again, reconvenes. Jaffa Baboon going up the inside with DRS of Jamil. And Jaffa Baboon has made a habit of this race of passing Red Bull drivers. This time it is the other Red Bull, Jamil, and he makes that move stick into 6th place. Great move from him, as Fletcher now getting very racy behind Sean Larry. He needs to get this overtake done. He's got a bit of a gap to Ice-T, who's 10 seconds behind him. He tries to go move for the inside, tries to go for the switch back under and over. Sean Larry sees it coming. These two had a great battle in Singapore, and once again Fletcher cannot seem to find a way past the Ferrari driver on the old medium tyres. This is a great battle between these two, and Sean Larry knows if this championship does go beyond this race, he needs to make sure that Fletcher does not get away from him. As now, as they go up the hill about to approach 130R, is Fletcher going to be very, very ballsy and go for a big ballsy dive bomb? He goes to the outside. Sean Larry's going to try and cover him off. Is he going to make this move stick? Two of them go wide there. Oh, Fletcher just about halted on the outside, and that's a fantastic move. Round the outside of 130R, that is a fantastic move from Fletcher into the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. And with Compassion now, part 2 with Ice-T, as he tries to go around the inside of 130R, and he makes the move at the hairpin stick, and that's the chicane stick, sorry. That's a great move from Compassion. There's overtakes galore in this race. Brilliant driving from Compassion there, and Ice-T settles to stick behind him. This battle is far from over between them two, and Jamil has overtaken Jaffa Baboon again. As overtakes galore. I need about 3 cameras, as Jaffa Baboon is now going to the inside, and he makes that move stick. This is insane racing, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we've come to see, a track that's usually difficult to overtake on. And we've just gone to the second half of the race, ladies and gentlemen, so strap yourselves in. We may only have 12 runners, but we've still got plenty of racing to go. 3 fantastic battles all over the track at the moment. And I'm just about trying to catch my breath now. And then there's this man, Max, trying to catch up to Ice-T now, as MES_Compassion99, I believe to be Alex there, hoping to see if you can pull out a bit of a gap now on Ice-T. Is Ice-T going to settle for a podium? I'm pretty sure Max is not going to allow it in the McLaren. Another brilliant drive from him. Can he bring it home this time? As we're with Jamil now, once again, part 28 by the sounds of it, with the battle with Jaffa Baboon between these Red Bull drivers. Javi Mateos has fallen further down the order, so it looks like his fight with Jaffa Baboon and Jamil looks to be coming to an end for the rest of this race. Well, I've got to say, ladies and gentlemen, it's Phil Smith as well. Sorry, go back to this battle again as Jaffa Baboon goes to the inside of 130R again. Ice-T has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's not going to help his cause this time. Jaffa Baboon keeps it to the outside to block off the overtake from Jamil. As now they go once again to the final corner. Jamil's got a great run off the final corner, and he's going to have DRS again. And it's going to look like it's going to be another overtake. Jaffa Baboon tries to squeeze him as much as he can, but he's looking all to be with no avail. It goes to the inside, and that's an overtake into 7th place for Jamil. Once again, these two swapping positions. I've never seen a race where drivers have overtook each other consistently, and it's great to see. And you can see in the comments, guys, you're absolutely right. We turn the safety car on and this happens. I'm not sure if the safety car would have hampered this kind of racing, but it's fantastic to see. Do let us know, guys, do you think the safety cars should be removed for the rest of the season? Maybe. Or should we have it back in until a patch, of course, is introduced by Cody's to fix that issue? Whether or not they're going to do that before the F1 2020 game comes out officially remains to be seen. But let us know what you think. Moving on for the next season of VRL racing, there's still plenty of action to go in this race and this season, of course, as well. This man Ice-T can win the championship today, but it's not looking likely at the moment. Championship rival Fletcher currently leading the race, doing what he needs to do to win this race, and of course MES_Compassion99 doing a fantastic job on his debut in the Toro Rosso, replacing Robert Dornbos. It's now 16 laps in, as now Sean Larry finally pits as predicted, 16 laps into the race now, and he'll be looking to try and see if he can get fastest lap. And of course Magic Alonso, the forgotten man, usually comes alive in the second half of the race, doing a good job in 5th place at the moment, doing what he needs to do to stay in this championship hunt. And Sean Larry has come straight into the battle as expected between Jamil and Jaffa Baboon, and he's right in the middle of this sandwich now between the Red Bull and the Hush driver. So strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. It's part 2 for this titanic battle between these three, as Xavi Mateos has fallen further down the order now. It's going to struggle to reconvene now. Sean Larry on the softer tyres in the Ferrari, much fresher soft tyres as well, so he's going to need to get past Jamil to try and get down the road. He might be able to catch Magic Alonso and Max later on. And he goes for a lunge to the inside. Oh, and he's gone into the back of Jamil there, and he's punted him there. Well, the stewards will have to have a look at that one, and he's letting Jamil through. Fair play from Sean Larry, great sportsmanship to see there. Punted the back of Jamil to make that overtake, and he's allowed him back through, so can reconvene the battle there. No love lost, no harm done there. Get ready for the next part of this titanic battle, and Fletcher sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:30.5. That is going to be critical. This championship could be decided by fastest laps. They are worth a point in every race now. That's a great run for Sean Larry. Goes up the inside of Jamil, but Jamil closes the door on him as Jaffa Baboon tucks in, looking to see if there's a sniff of an opportunity, and he will be there to pounce. As we've now got DRSs open for Sean Larry. It's also open for Jaffa Baboon as well, who's going to get the double slipstream now. There's a great through the nose there, and he makes that move stick round the inside, and he's up into 6th place now. And Sean Larry, on those soft tyres, is now going to try and get his head down and get after Magic Alonso, who's only 7 seconds up the road. It's not impossible to catch up with him. As Jamil and Jaffa Baboon now reconvene their battle. There's a lap cars being overtaken, ghosting through, so they're not going to be a factor in this race. Jamil's got a 3-second time penalty, and at the moment that could be a huge deal in this championship. For the Red Bull team, trying to get Constructors' Championship points in the later part of the season. They can still climb the order quite quickly, but the last thing they're going to want is their drivers getting penalties to affect their points all later on. Wow. Let us know what you think of this race so far, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think Fletcher can be caught? It's not looking likely at the moment. And as it stands, it's looking in a great position to extend this championship and continue his fight. Of course, we'll be interviewing the top 3 drivers at the moment after the end of the race, so do stick around for us after that for the post-race interviews, as Jamil and Jaffa Baboon once again having a battle round the outside of 130R. Goes Jaffa Baboon, laid on the brakes on the inside and makes a nice dive, and he's up into 7th place. But Jamil, is he going to get DRS straight away, as Jaffa Baboon loses it and goes onto the grass now, and Jamil is going to have the DRS now as Sean Larry sets the fastest lap of the race, which is essential for his championship fight. And is he going to make move around the inside once again? Oh, he's gone for a lunge, but he went wide round the outside, and Jaffa Baboon is going to retake the position, but it's a great run again from Jamil, and this time Jaffa Baboon comes out on top. We've got to say, and some of you have mentioned this in the comment section as well, some of these drivers are now starting to show the consistency and the brilliance in their racing and respect for each other and speed that is worthy of plenty of F1 drives. A lot of the F1 team bosses will be looking at this race. I'm sure a lot of them will be very impressed with what we're seeing so far, and I hope you guys are too. Please give a like, share the video and subscribe to the channel. There's plenty of racing going on, and we still have the F1 race, the main event tomorrow to come. Massive championship battle to undergo its next chapter, and we'll be hoping to see more of that, more racing like this tomorrow. Yes please, I will take that very, very much. Great driving between Jaffa Baboon and Jamal, must be said, but it seems that they're now breaking away again. Further up the field, Ice-T now falling back now from MES_Compassion99. It looks like at the moment he's not really enjoying it on those medium tyres, and Ice-T tends to fall away as the race goes on in the latter stages. Maybe he's selling for third place. Of course, he will not win the championship today, finishing in third place, but scoring as many points as he can will go some way to try and see if he can do it, of course. Of course, it remains to see if Ice-T can still be crowned champion. Of course he can, without even racing when he goes into VRL F1, so I'm sure he will stake a massive interest in what follows in the final 3 races. Of course, we've still got plenty of action to go as this season unfolds and comes to a conclusion. As now we're with Niltix and Silly Guy in the McLaren, having a battle for the final championship point. There are 11 runners left as Kimi is retired. Such a shame, Kimi once again not having the rub of the green today. He's not been in good form of late. Hopefully he can pick it up towards the end of the season now, as we only have 11 runners left, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a survival video more than anything else. It's been great overtaking, but Jamal once again right up to the back. As now Niltix goes into the corner. Now Silly Guy, is he looking bold to dive in? Not this time. As once again we're with Jamal trying to find a way to get past Jaffa Baboon. As we go down up the hill once again to try and see if he can overtake Jaffa Baboon once again. Of course, our next race is a 2-week break for Easter, so we will not be back until the 18th of April for the US Grand Prix, so make sure to join us for that one as well. Lock the reminder in your calendars, and of course, in order to stay up to date with the latest videos, let's come back to that actually, as Niltix is fending off Silly Guy. He goes to the outside, but he can't make the move stick this time. Great defensive driving from Niltix. He's on fresher medium tyres, so it should be much stronger as this race goes. Silly Guy on the soft tyres. Remember, he put those on very, very early in this race. And now he's going to go for a move up the inside. He's had DRS. Is he going to make this stick on the inside? And he's got that overtake done. Brilliant overtake from Silly Guy. Up into 10th place for the final championship point with Niltix. Can he hold him off as this race goes on? And of course, a further battle down the road. Of course, you're absolutely right in the comments section. Just about to join this battle. Sean Larry, as it's developing now, is catching Magic Alonso. Said a couple of laps ago when he got ahead of Jaffa Baboon and Jamal, he needed to break away, and he's now catching Magic Alonso at an absolute electric pace. Fastest man on the track at the moment, with the extra point for fastest lap. And I'll tell you what, seeing races like this and commentating on races like this myself wettens my appetite to try and get involved as well. Of course, I'm a commentator. I'll leave the stars on the track and the racing to these legends out here. They're providing some absolutely fantastic on-track action for all of us, something that we need in the world right now with the difficulties we're having. What better way to spend your Saturday nights than watching these absolute legends drive around this track at absolute electric pace, going toe to toe with each other, overtakes galore. And speaking of which, Jaffa Baboon locks his brakes into the final chicane, gives an opportunity now for Jamal. He can get, oh, they've touched, they've collided. Jamal went into the back of Jaffa Baboon there. Oh wow. I'll tell you what, wasn't on board there, so we'll have to see the footage, but it looked like Jamal just ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time behind Jaffa Baboon. Jaffa Baboon looked like he didn't try to block him off or anything like that, so no ill intent there, but Jamal drove into the back of him. Fortunately for Jamal, doesn't look like there's any damage on his car, and they'll be able to continue once again. Of course, he'll be fired up for that one. And Sem there in the comments section saying, alright, I'm back, what did I miss? Sem, where have you been, mate? My colleague, the VRL commentator, the main man at the VRL F1 commentary team. you have missed a hell of a lot of good racing, my friend. You're going to have to watch the VRL F2 races more often, mate. But it's great to have you with us, and obviously best of luck, and hopefully a brilliant race will unfold tomorrow in the VRL F1 race, which you can watch on the channel. Same channel here. Like, share and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click on that notification bell to not miss a single thing, as both championships are coming to a conclusion now. You will not want to miss a thing at all. And I am absolutely loving this now as we're coming to the final stages of this race now. Coming back up the orders, the field spreads out a little bit. Race leader Fletcher has led from the start, been on pole position with an absolute storming lap. Nearly 3/4 of a second clear of everyone else, Hamilton-esque if you like, in qualifying. Led from the start and has been very comfortable. Has only had to make one overtake in this race to get past Sean Larry, as he was on a different stint in this race. MES_compassion, brilliant qualifying result for him, second on the grid in his first race in VRL F2, had a brilliant battle with Ice-T and is now second place and looking very comfortable at the moment to consolidate that second place finish. Also with the championship leader Ice-T, needs to win this race and hope that results go on for his favour for the rest of the race in order to become champion, as Fletcher gets a time penalty for multiple warnings, just as he did in the Singapore race, although this time it looks like he's not going to be punished too much in this race. And now the battle for 5th place between Magic Alonso and Sean Larry, as Niltix gets another penalty as well in 11th place. His battle for the last championship scoring point. He's going to need to make sure he gets the point, because of course the Racing Point team is going to be without their star driver, and they're leading this championship in the Constructors' Championship, and they're going to need Niltix to pick up some points in order to consolidate that, because the Ferraris and the Renaults, who are battling each other right now, are scoring points regularly and could usurp them in this championship battle. It's now Sean Larry on those soft tyres. He's got 5 laps fresher tyres, softer compound. Let's go on board Sean Larry. He's got the DRS and he's gone around the inside of Magic Alonso, and he looks like he's going to make that stick, goes back to cover the line, and Sean Larry, easy as you like. That DRS is absolute OP around this circuit, and of course Sean Larry is, what I hear, is a pad user, so pad OP well and truly back on par with wheel racers once again, and that's a great move from Sean Larry, and he's only a few seconds behind Max. Do you think he can catch Max? Maybe he could catch Ice-T as well. It's not out of the question. Ice-T has a penalty as well. And of course, I know you guys would want me to check, but I don't want to miss an absolute moment of this racing. So I'm going to stick with this, and of course the penalties will fall as they lie, so do bear with us, of course, as the remainder of this race really unfolds. So let me know, guys, who do you think is going to win the Drivers' Championship? Will it be Ice-T after he leaves to move to VRL F1 for his promotion? Will he be able to score enough points in this race to have a big enough lead that will not be caught? Or will it be this man, Fletcher? Will he be able to pull back the lead to Ice-T? Will he be able to catch up to him? Or will it be this man, Sean Larry, 2-time VRL F2 winner last time out in Singapore, up into 5th place at the moment and catching Max at a rapid pace? Can he win the championship? And then of course Magic Alonso still in the hunt as well for now. Burkai also in the hunt. He is retired after a poor showing in this race, very unfortunate for him, but he can still win this championship too. He is not out of it either, but it's looking very unlikely after a poor showing once again for him. Since winning the British Grand Prix, Burkai has not had the best of luck. Needs to pick up his form, as Jamil, I do apologise, Jamil has made an overtake, but now Jaffa Baboon round the inside once again. These two swapping positions. This is incredible racing between these two, and Jaffa Baboon manages to maintain a position. Oh, and Silly Guy has been spun off. He's had an accident. Was there a collision with Niltix? I was unable to see if those two had collided. Let us know in the comment section if anyone was following that. Felix, if you're still there, let me know if there was a collision between these two. Of course the stewards will find out towards the end of the race, but Silly Guy goes backwards into the wall, just about manages to stay in the race, and Niltix now up into the last championship scoring position. And of course, if you've just joined us, where have you been? I know it's a lovely evening wherever you are around the world, but of course the aim of the game is to stay inside, and as I say that, Fletcher set a new fastest lap fastest laps are going to be incredibly important now. They're becoming more and more paramount as the season goes on. And that's another point in the bag for Fletcher at the moment. 26 points, exactly what he wants. He's been practicing all week long in this Japanese Grand Prix. He says he loves the circuit. He's been saying to me he's been looking forward to this race all season long. And this could be the one where he really starts to make a dent and lay down a marker for his championship challenge now. Silly guy gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so it seems like he's rather pissed off about what happened there. But once again, Jamil now following GPRL Jaffa Baboon. This time, no overtake. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I am shocked. No overtake? Guys, that's not good enough. I want to see overtakes galore between you two. But what a battle these two have had. They've been stuck to each other like, well, like ugly on an ape, really. Absolute rash between them two. Brilliant to see. Yeah, these two have been stuck together all race long, like Marcus Ericsson hitting the back of Romain Grosjean, of course, wink wink, for those of you that will know that insider joke. And now Sean Larry right up to the back of Max now. He's within DRS. Can he catch up to him as he goes up the hill now? Both of them catching Ice-T, so that battle's not over yet. Ice-T has got a 3-second penalty from what I understand, so we're going to have to wait and see how that unfolds. He may not be able to finish on the podium. He may drop further down, which will, well, it will change the complexity of the championship situation now. As Jamil and Jaffa Baboon overtakes once again between them two. Great move to see. Is Jaffa Baboon going to go for a lunge up the inside? No, he tucks in this time. Sean Larry's got the DRS open. He is catching up to Max. And yes, some of you in the comment section. Philip Smith, once again, yes, saying Sean Larry may get on the podium. He absolutely could. And Jaffa Baboon has overtaken. And something's happened with Jamil. Sorry, I'd come out there. Something happened between them two as I was going to the battle with Sean Larry. And he's gone down into 9th place. And Javi Mateos has overtook his teammate. Well, that is such a shame. I do apologise, because that battle was going hammer and tongs all the way through, and now it's concluded in the most unspectacular fashion because we weren't able to see it. What a shame, as now Niltix is all over the back. Can he get another point off of Jamil? Now we move up to the battle for 5th place now. As you can see, 3rd, 4th and 5th all within a second and a half of each other now. Ice-T could be relegated to 5th place. Max could be on for a podium in the McLaren. Sean Larry, after what seems to be a very difficult start to this race on the ultimate strategy, may end up on the podium himself. Who do you think is going to finish on the podium, guys? Ice-T, Max or Sean Larry? Which one of these three do you think is going to do it? They're all line astern as we come up to the final lap of the Japanese Grand Prix for VRL F2. Now the DRS is open, but Max also has the DRS as well, and that could help him keep Sean Larry behind him. And this is not what Sean Larry will want. But Ice-T, very squirmish on the brakes. He is feeling the pressure. He needs to score the points for his championship challenge. Can he hold on to 3rd place? At the moment it's looking very unlikely, but you never know what could happen in VRL racing. Further down the order, you've got Jaffa Baboon reconvening his battle with Javi Mateos. You'd think he'd shake off one Red Bull, and all of a sudden another one pops right up as Niltix tries to get very racy behind Jamil as well. There's now Sean Larry. Is he going to go for a dive bomb? This could be for a podium position. Sean Larry goes for the inside for a dive bomb. Oh, and he's made the move stick. He's got in between. Oh, he's hit Ice-T. He's hit the championship leader. Oh my goodness. Ice-T has been spun round by Sean Larry. By the looks of it, we'll have to get the stewards to have a look at that one, because I didn't see the onboard footage for Sean Larry, but it looked like he just about hit. I see him spinning round. He went very late on the brakes. And now Magic Alonso, may he fancy a chance? He's a bit far behind him. As I've just missed, I do apologise, as Fletcher, absolute dominant in this race, has come through to win. But we're back to this battle now, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Sean Larry and Max is going to go around the outside of the chicane. Can he make the move stick? No, it doesn't look like it, as Sean Larry is going to go through as Compassion serves his time penalty, unserved time penalty, as Sean Larry comes across the line in 3rd place. Max comes across the line in 4th. Ice-T comes through and he finishes 5th and 6th. I do apologise if I missed the race winner there. But Jaffa Baboon coming through the final corners now with Xavi Mateos. What a titanic battle. This could affect the championship big time as it comes through. But it's all about this man. In the land of the rising sun, it is Fletcher's day, as he is the winner of the VRL F2 Japanese Grand Prix. What a dominant drive from him. And is this the man that could take the championship fight to the very end of the season? Is this the man who could win the championship? It is not over yet. We have still got 3 races to decide it, as Ice-T will not win the championship today before moving to VRL F1. But here is your race winner. An absolute stonking drive from him. Absolute dominant from start to finish. A great result for Compassion 99 in the Taurus on his debut. Second place, a brilliant drive. And Sean Larry, all the way down the field after the first lap, kept it clean for as much as he could. Kept on the alternate strategy, and a solid third place to keep his championship battle alive. But of course, the incident where he looked like he went into the back of Ice-T is going to be investigated. And now rounding off the order, so the race winner Fletcher in the Mercedes. Compassion also coming second place. Not forget, Fletcher fastest lap of the race as well, so that will help his championship charge. Sean Larry third, although that is under scrutiny. The stewards will review. Maxim fourth in the McLaren, could be promoted to the podium, we'll see. Ice-T finishing only fifth after that last lap incident. Probably would have finished fifth anyway, but penalties may promote him up the order. His final race not going as he planned, but he could still be the champion, of course. That's a good haul of points. Magic Alonso 6th, Jaffa Baboon 7th, Xavi Mateos 8th, Niltix 9th, got ahead of Jamil towards the end, and Jamil sadly finishing in 10th place off the grey roads. Unfortunate for the championship leader, but of course follow the news for VRL News and Vision League Racing in the week to find out the latest updates. And now, if you bear with me guys, I'm interviews with the top 3 finishers provisionally, and also we're going to have a word with our championship leader as well as he makes his leave from the VRL F2 championship into VRL F1. It was a bold move from Sean Larry, I've got to say. The stewards are definitely going to be having a look at that one again. But just bear with me guys. What a race. I mean, driver of the day has got to be Fletcher, in my opinion. Of course, there were some great battles out there. Jaffa Baboon, Jamil, Xavi Mateos, Sean Larry, great battles as well. And of course, Compassion as well. Great effort from him as well to come second on his debut race. It was an absolute brilliant performance from him. So bear with us as I invite the rest of the drivers to the order, as Fletcher has just joined me, so bear with me. I'm just inviting the rest of the drivers in the top 3 to the conversation as well. Fletcher, so just bear with me once a moment. Just collect your thoughts, of course, after a brilliant drive. I've got no co-commentator with me this weekend, so bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologise for the lengthy delay. And of course, this is going to be a different post-race interview. We're going to interview the top 3 as normal, but we're also going to interview the championship leader, Ice-T, as well, to get his thoughts on a great race and obviously his final race before moving on to VRL F1 as well. As I've seen that Max has not joined us, so I'll try and see if I can get hold of them as well. So bear with me guys, I'm just inviting the final driver to the interviews. Just collect your thoughts and I'll be with you just a moment. Let us know in the chats guys, who do you think was the driver of the day for this race? Let me know what you think. Of course, there's a lot of great drives today, plenty of fantastic overtaking, and that's exactly what we want to see for VRL in the future. As seems we can't get hold of our second place finisher Compassion, so I'll try to get hold of
Yeah.
him. So, we'll commence with our post-race interview. So, first of all, our race winner for the Japanese Grand Prix. This time, it will definitely count this time. So, Fletcher, congratulations. What a drive. Dominant victory. How do you feel?
Amazing, man. I can't believe it. I've cut the gap down to 45 points with 3 races left.
Oh, you've already done the maths.
And it's 2 wins in the last 3 races. And I've got to do it. But today, like, I've put so much time and effort into this race. And I was so comfy all race. But when it came down to Sean Larry pitting, and I saw he got the fastest lap, I went for about 4 different attempts afterwards to get it. I'm finally getting it in the end. I got the point back, but I'm just so happy, honestly.
No, it was an absolutely fantastic drive. From start to finish, you were like lightning in qualifying, and that translated into the race. Yeah, as you mentioned, you were chasing the fastest lap. Of course, that is going to be very, very important towards the end of this season. Every point is going to count. Do you feel that you can well, at the moment you're looking very good to win. Do you feel you can overhaul that 45-point deficit in the last 3 races?
There's 3 races, so 3 chances to win at 2 of my favourite tracks. I mean, I'm not gonna obviously put my mind too much towards it, but honestly, well, it's looking good. That's all I can say.
That's brilliant to hear, and once again, brilliant job. So just one quick question, of course, because you were talking to me in the week about your preparations. In the race, of course, you had to make 1 overtake with Sean Larry, as he was on the alternate strategy. Is it fair to say that he gave you a very tough fight, and is that something that we should look forward to towards the end of the season?
That's pretty obvious. That's pretty obvious. He was doing brake checks into the last chicane and everything, but honestly, I didn't expect that. But, well, I don't really mind. Sean Larry can do what Sean Larry wants to do, and that's not my business.
No. Well, fair enough. I mean, it did seem to me, being on the older tyres, that his braking speeds were not able to be as good as yours were with much older tyres, but no, fair enough. And, well, that's all there's left to say. Once again, Fletch, is congratulations on the win. Brilliant job. You'll definitely be keeping this one this time, from what I've seen. So, all the best for the rest of the season, my friend.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Take care. So that brings us now to our 3rd place finisher, provisionally of course, because Compassion has left the lobby, so I'm not able to invite him at the moment, I'm afraid. So we have Sean Larry with us. So congratulations on the podium. How do you feel about your drive today?
Yeah, thank you. Don't know if I'll get to keep this one, but obviously I've poured my heart into it. Starting on the medium tyre, I had to make some moves, got stuck behind couple cars, but yeah, it's nice, fun battle. Big thank you to my teammate, my friend Juan Paul, who gave me a really good setup for this race. Yeah, so we decided to go on the medium strategy, which on our qualifying attempts, both of us got blocked pretty massively, so didn't get to qualify as high up as we needed to make this strategy work. But yeah, not happy with my performance. For sure I tried my best, but there was one move at the end, I think you saw. I don't know if you saw. But the move on Ice-T and McLaren. On the McLaren it was pretty nice, but I just completely didn't expect Ice-T to be so close to him. So that meant that I hit him, which is not ideal, not what I want. I think he was doing a great job holding the pace and keeping that position, so sorry to him. I would accept any penalty from the stewards. I think there was an early incident with a Red Bull driver, but he was lagging all over the place, so you really can't predict where his car is going to be on at a certain moment. And yeah, I was leading the race for a bit, I think. Fletcher behind, and yeah, just trying to keep him behind, and yeah, see, because you never know what happens with what will happen at the end of the race. You know, you could struggle on his tires, but unlikely, wishful thinking, but you know, you never know. So that was the plan there, and yeah, just not ideal with fuel. I was struggling a bit with fuel towards the end, so that's why I couldn't make moves as quickly as I wanted.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask about qualifying and also the the incident that you've just described. You seem to describe that so well. You've almost took the question out of my mouth. So, no, that's a fair point. I mean, from where we saw it, we weren't able to see the full picture, but it did look like that you tagged Ice-T a little bit. It was a bold move, and it was definitely worth the risk going for it. It's just a bit unfortunate that by braking a little bit later than you would have liked, end up tagging Ice-T as well. So of course, the stewards will be reviewing that. Ice-T did have a penalty. So I know, I'm not sure if you had one as well. I think you might have done, although I wasn't able to check without a co-commentator. But nonetheless, last question to you before we move on to our next driver. So with Ice-T now moving into VRL F1, of course, the championship is still very much alive. And of course, yourself and Fletcher and also your Ferrari teammate Burkay and the two Renaults are still very much in the fight. Do you feel that you can still win this championship?
Honestly, I'm not going to look at whether I can win. I know it's a boring answer, but today showed that, you know, it's a lot of things aren't in your hands, and but for sure I'll give it my best. And yeah, it's racing, so you never know what will happen. And yeah, I don't know what the next track is, but it can't be worse than Suzuka.
Well, it'll be the US Grand Prix, so another technical circuit.
Well, I'm pretty excited for that. I know myself, I'm really good around there, so yeah, definitely gonna try and challenge for the top positions and do talking on track, kind of like some other individuals, let's say.
Yeah, well, no, that's brilliant to hear, and thank you very much. Another great drive. Of course, the incident at the end will be reviewed by the stewards, but best of luck for the rest of the season. Great to hear from you again, Jean-Larry.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that brings us now to, last and most certainly not least, our championship leader, Ice-T. So first of all, Ice-T, commiserations for the incident at the final lap, which in part prevented you from getting a podium finish. What was your take on the incident, or of your race as a whole, really?
I think he was going for the move on Max, but yeah, he did towards me. I spun. I lost 2 positions, so I think it's clear.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. And of course, with you moving on to VRL F1 after this race, and first of all, it's been a pleasure having you on with VRL F2 and obviously talking with you in previous races. But now that you're moving into the VRL F1 league, do you feel that you have done enough this season to maintain that championship lead now and win the championship at the end of the season, or do you feel that the lead you have is not big enough at this time?
I think I can battle in F1. I have a lot of friends in there. I race against other leagues, against the same drivers, so I think I can challenge them. So.
Oh, brilliant! But in answer to my that's great to hear. But obviously, in answer to my question, what I was asking was, do you feel that the lead that you currently have, now that you've moved into the F1 league, do you feel it's big enough to win the championship?
No.
Ooh.
I'm talking to Phil because of the last incident, so that I can have an extra race to show myself. So.
Well, that's completely. I mean, of course, if this is not your last race, then it'd be a pleasure to have you for one more, of course. But if you do move on to VRL F1, then it's been fantastic to have you. Just one more comment for you as well. In the middle stint, you were having a great battle with Compassion 99. One thing I did want to ask you: were you preserving your pace, given that you wanted to get points for the championship, or were you struggling on the latter stint on the medium tyres?
Yeah, I was struggling a lot on the mediums. My pace was not there. Compression was faster, Max was faster, Jean-Larry was faster, Fletcher was faster, so my pace was not there where I wanted.
No, fair enough. Well, no, thank you very much for talking to us once again. Of course, we will wait and see what the outcome is of that steward's inquiry involving the last lap incident. But on behalf of the team here at VRL F2. Just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure commentating on your races and talking with you, and I wish you all the best, not only for the rest of the F2 season, however that pans out for the championship, but also your career in VRL F1 as well.
Thank you.
That's brilliant. So that was Ice-T, ladies and gentlemen, our championship leader. So unfortunately for him, he does not take home the VRL F2 championship crown this weekend. However, there are 3 races left to go, and it's still possible for Ice-T to win the championship. However, now the gap has been cut down by Fletcher after that fantastic drive. Trying to get the words out of my mouth there. Which now leads us to a 2-week break. The next race is at the US Grand Prix on the 18th of April, same time at 6 PM. Do join us. Please like, share and subscribe to the Hot Lap Mode VRL PS4 channel as well. Plenty of action. And of course, we have the race tomorrow. We have the VRL F1 race in Japan, so make sure to tune in tomorrow at 2:30 PM UK time, 3:30 PM European time on the same channel. Also, make sure to like, share, follow our sponsors and our title partners, Hot Lap Mode. Give them a like and follow them on social media, Twitter and Instagram, and also follow F1.gameplay as well, our new friends and sponsors to the channel. Give them a follow as well. They're a great team, great work they do. That's F1.game_play. And that is the end of the broadcast. I hope you very much enjoyed the coverage. I've been your host, Adam Burns. Make sure you subscribe and join us for the next race. Take care, guys. Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you at the next VRL F2 Grand Prix. Good night.